Hey guys, Rostock here coming at you with another Dota 2 video, and as you can see I have this 7.00 client open and I am super excited. There's a lot of cool changes that I can't wait for tomorrow on the Dota 2 live update when 7.0 officially drops. So with that being said, I want to talk about a lot of quality of life changes here. It's going to help a lot of newer players as well as veterans alike just to make the game a little bit more enjoyable. So without further ado, the first thing I want to talk about is the backpack placement. As you can see, if you're an edge pan user, I use camera grip, so I hold the mouse wheel down usually and move my screen like that. But if you're an edge pan user, you have to be very precise in how you place your items into the backpack, otherwise you're gonna kind of wreck yourself with that screen movement. So yeah, kind of moving it, maybe move your, I saw a suggestion on Reddit to move your stats over here and then have your attributes, so maybe move the backpack right above the attributes, maybe put the attributes above the backpack, move it to the right. You know, it's a pretty easy fix. I'm sure the development team can move it to a slightly better spot there. Another thing is when you actually move your items from the backpack into your inventory, they have a 6-second cooldown, but as you can see, there's no visual indicator for that. You kind of have to just get a feel for it. So in the midst of battle, let's say you have 1.5 seconds left on blink, it's kind of hard to tell exactly when the item's going to come up. So having some kind of indicator, maybe a cooldown of a different color, or maybe just a cooldown right in the middle to show you when the item's actually available would be a pretty good idea. So the next thing I want to talk about is a few places where the observer ward placement can use some polish. As you can see, there's an observer ward spot here, very easily indicated by an eyeball. We got observer ward eyeballs everywhere, but the thing is, for newer players, they might not actually know that this cliff right here is a place where you can put an observer ward, so sticking a big fat eyeball there could be pretty useful. Another thing is, we're all familiar with tinker wards and where to place them, but the very east side of the map is a little bit finicky. There's no clear indication here of where to place it. I typically use this red bush right here and just place it to the bottom right of it. So kind of to contrast some of the other tinker ward spots, for example, you can place it anywhere along the ridge up here. On the very west side of the map, there's like a little mound of dirt right here, and you can place it anywhere alongside the mound. And to the very south side, there's actually a cliff right here that you can kind of just place it on. So very easy to spot. In contrast to the east side of the map, there's no clear indicator on where to actually place your observer wards. So the next thing I want to cover is the info boxes that we have. Whenever you click on a unit, it'll show you basically anything that you want to know in terms of their stats, attack, armor, move speed. If it has mana, it'll show you the mana as well. And the thing with this is this box is really nice, except that it is kind of obtrusive. It gets in the way. It is slightly translucent. For example, you can see the creeps behind this a little bit. For the most part, it's kind of hard to see what's behind this thing. The box does naturally go down after a few seconds. At the same time, you can also just click on a unit and then left click, the box will go down immediately. But say you're in a team fight, you're playing anti-mage, and there's a hero like Storm Spirit or Leshrac, and you just want to see their mana usage or how much mana they have left. It's kind of hard to see past this box. It doesn't take up that much of the screen, but having the option to make it translucent or a bit more translucent would be pretty nice. So speaking of creeps, let's kill the camp here. And this is a little bit more useful for people that like testing. And what I'm talking about is how the camps react to the command -spawn neutrals. So as you can see, I'm going to wait for this camp to actually spawn. And the only way to actually tell if a camp can spawn now is waiting for it to come on the minute mark. As you can see, the camp didn't spawn, Shadow Fiend's not blocking it, there's nothing here to block the camps. And this observer ward blocked it, but the thing is, if you type -spawn neutrals, the camps will actually spawn. So if you're someone who likes testing, placing observer wards on the very brink of the spawn box because you want to get maximum vision on the lane or somewhere in the jungle, you can't. There's no definitive way to test constantly if a camp's being blocked or not, because the spawn neutrals command makes the neutrals spawn even if the camp is blocked. As you can see, the first time I waited until the minute mark and it didn't actually spawn. So reverting it back to how it was before, making sure that the spawn is still blocked when you have a neutral, because you can always use the kill wards command if you want to try something new and make the neutrals spawn, but it's harder to test if the neutrals themselves are being blocked by the wards. So having that change reverted would be pretty nice. So the next thing I want to talk about is the requirement of having to click on these skills. For example, there's no way to actually use hotkeys to level up your abilities anymore. In fact, they actually removed the ability to level up using hotkeys. Of course, you can't get stats anymore, but bringing back hotkey options to level up your skills should improve gameplay overall. For example, if you're in the middle of the fight and you want to get that key level 6 skill, or let's say you're hitting level 2 or level 3 off a creep wave and you're going to get a new skill altogether, rather than having to use your mouse, it's much more efficient to use a hotkey to level up. So bringing that back should be pretty good. I have no idea what the hell is happening here, but still, there's no option to clear chat. So if your opponents are all chatting, if your allies are talking about their favorite color, favorite, fast food, who's been the best president, who's going to be the best president, Trump, of course, but or whatever. There's no way to clear the chat. That kind of sucks. Another option I'd like is for me to have the option to see only what I've typed in chat. So for example, there's a drop down option that says show only the things I've typed. For example, if I time Roshan or something, if I time my enemy ultimates, something that I like to do with long cooldown ultimates like Ravage or something, I'll write out the time your opponent used it, and then just add the cooldown on top of it, so I know when it's going to be up. And all that stuff gets buried in, green, my favorite color, pepperoni pizza, all this kind of chat as you play the game kind of scrolls up everything that you've typed, and you have to kind of go back and find out what some pertinent information regarding the situation of the game may be. So having an option to see only the things that you've typed should be helpful. Maybe there could be a new chat box that you can type in altogether. Maybe you'd have an option, a different tab where you can put things like timers in, so it's easy to sift through that kind of stuff. Another miscellaneous thing is this patch has just dumpstered my FPS. I'm at like 40 to 50 FPS. Before, when I used to record, I would be getting a solid maybe 60-70 FPS. When I play the game, I used to get about 120 FPS, and I'm not complaining about the FPS itself. I'm complaining about the fact that there's been a drop in performance, a huge drop. So this is going to be really bad for the players that already had very low FPS. So as you can see, my settings are turned pretty high. The reason I wanted to, when I made this video, I wanted to make sure that I was using the same recording settings I've been using throughout the last few months, just to kind of highlight the whole FPS issue. But yeah, apart from that, let's move on to some hero stuff. So this is going to end out the quality of life suggestions. The first thing I want to talk about is the new talent stuff's really cool, but there's a little error here with Shadow Fiend. As you can see here, it says -7 Shadow Raise cooldown. Let me turn off what the fuck mode. In the tooltip, it still says 10 seconds, but as you can see clearly, it is 3 seconds. So perhaps updating that would be nice. And the reason I bring that up is because heroes like Shadow Demon, for example, as you can see, let me level up Shadow Poison, 2.5 seconds. But when I level up Shadow Poison talent, it goes to 1.5, so it shows correctly. Shadow Fiend does not show correctly. Sniper also shows it correctly. So as Assassinate is 20-second cooldown here, 1510. Let's go up the talent tree, get the cooldown reduction, and as you can see, it goes to 1511.25 and so forth. So I'm not sure if Shadow Fiend's the only one. I didn't really check everyone, so that's just something that the devs can go through, I guess. Let me create my boy Sven back because I dumpstered him. Sven enemy. So another hero I want to talk about very quickly is Phantom Lancer. So they still haven't added a toggleable ability to Phantom Rush. So if you're trying to do something like creep aggro, or just, it's very bad to not have a toggleable ability. This could be a balance update rather than a quality of life one. I'd argue it's just useful as a quality of life update. Trying to pull creep aggro and having to rush to your opponent, that kind of sucks, especially with the 16-second cooldown on level 1. I mean, I think that's more of a balance update, a quality of life update than a balance one. So having a toggleable ability for Phantom Rush should make the hero a little bit more enjoyable to play. And the last thing I want to talk about, this is just hilarious, is that if you're playing if you're playing Treant Protector and you hide, the next hit that you do from Nature's Guise actually stuns your opponent. So if you buy a Blink Dagger, thanks to the grace period that you get from Nature's Guise, if you leave a tree, you actually have 0.75 seconds before you break the fade time. You can actually just straight up Mike Tyson a fool with Blink Dagger. So you can go, walk around trees, buy your Blink Dagger, and just Mike Tyson a fool. The last thing is just something I want to point out because it was hilarious. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to do all that good stuff. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, etc. Once again, thanks for watching, and I am looking forward to the live update tomorrow. Yo, M, what's the chance that Bear Up bashes?
It's like a 17% chance.